Okay, but I say so. What is it?
And what is this visit for?
Well, some time ago, there was heavy downpour of rain, and the flood came into Rojenny tourist village and destroyed so many things. I saw the posts on social media, and it pained me greatly because this tourist village is a private investment done by Chief Rojenny, who is a member of the Board of Trustees of ABGA. I've come today to take a facility tour to see the extensive damage done to this tourist village by the flood, and it's very painful to me. One is that you will agree with me that this Rojenny tourist village is the biggest private tourist village in Nigeria. Apart from Obudu Ranch, developed by government, Yankari Reserve, all the reserves in Nigeria done by government. This facility is the biggest single investment by an individual. It's a very terrible thing. I've seen for myself, and not just here. A week ago and 2 weeks ago, Anambra State, the riverine areas got submerged under flood. The Anambra West, Anambra East, Obaru local government, Onitsha, and the rest of it. So I'm happy that the federal government of Nigeria declared Anambra State as one of the disaster areas in terms of flood menace. I feel happy that I've been able to come to see for myself. Before we went on recess, I had discussed this development with the chairman of the Senate Committee on Environment. I'm a member of the Senate Committee on Environment. I discussed with Her Excellency Senator Rojenny Tinubu on the erosion menace in Anambra State generally, worsened by the rain, the heavy downpour of rainfall in this rainy season. The state has been turned upside down. I've come to see for myself, and as soon as we resume in October, by October 9th, I'll be able to discuss with the members of my committee to see what the Senate can do to support Anambra State. I want to use the opportunity to thank the governor of Anambra State, because he's been doing a wonderful job in combating this flood menace disaster in the state. A lot of families have been displaced. We have IDPs now that are larger than Boko Haram IDP camps in the north. So I expect that the federal government of Nigeria should send relief. The vice president has also come to see for himself, but they couldn't get to this private facility. So we need to encourage our private investors, people who have put in money to support the tourism industry in Nigeria. I think in this sector, Chief Sen.Victor comes first in the whole of Nigeria as a private developer. So government must come to support him. The Anambra State government has done its bit to support this facility, but the government of Anambra should do much more than it has done. This is the way to encourage people who are public spirited, because if you look at the investment here, it runs into billions, and not much is coming to the investor in return, all in his contribution towards making this country a better place for all of us. The stadium here, you can see what an individual has done. We need to support him with the upgrade of the facilities here, and all the things devastated by erosion and flood, he needs support. So my brother, I assure you that what I have seen here, I will bring it to the attention of the Senate Committee on Environment. And whatever intervention the government can do, we'll support it in any means possible. I assure you that Rojenny Tourist Village must be supported by government. We'll support you to rehabilitate your facilities and encourage you. Don't relent in what you have done. To maintain this games village is not a child's play. It's a huge investment. The landmass is about 8 kilometers square. So you can see the size here, and everywhere is developed one thing or the other. This is a games village that has all the sporting facilities you can think of: badminton, volleyball, swimming pool, stadium for football, anything, basketball, everything is here with the supporting infrastructure, buildings, accommodation, and so on and so forth. So My brother, I sympathize with you for what has happened here, and be assured that I'm with you in this travel.
Sir, in 2012, we remember that this type of flood happened. That one, the magnitude of that one was much greater than this one. And the federal government made some promises to the victims, both in Anambra West, Anambra East, Obaru, and all the rest of them. And we are hearing that some of those promises have not been fulfilled. Are you in any way going to remind them when you go back to the Senate on some of the promises that have not been kept?
What we have seen here today has been the damage done by flood water, which can be controlled through channelization of water, flowing around here. But Anambra State, like I said earlier on, is an erosion-prone state. We have a lot of erosion sites here, Obosi area, even in Awka, the state capital. The Federal High Court is being almost falling into a deep gully, And we have so many active erosion sites in Anambra State. So Oko and Naika, those ones are the huge ones. But I tell you, every corner of Anambra State has one kind of erosion challenge or the other. The governor has been doing so much, but his effort is not enough. The World Bank has done some support, but still not enough. It's just like a scratch on the big elephant. I have said it clearly that Anambra State needs to get special support from the Ecological Fund Office, headed by the Secretary to Government of the Federation, and then the Ministry of Environment. They need to see this place and save us. We don't have so much land mass, yet the little we have is being destroyed by erosion. Taking you to 2012, I remember that there was a time President Goodluck Jonathan came here and with Okonjo-Iweala, then Minister of Finance, and he promised that $450 million loan will be attracted to combat erosion in the southeast. Since that time, 6 years after, nothing has happened. I remember as National Chairman of ABGA, I challenged them that time that issues concerning Anambra State will not be treated with loan and all kinds of things. I criticized all these things that time, and I said, why should it be? Government of Nigeria should devote money to fighting these challenges in this area. But it has not happened. And one day, the whole of Southeast may collapse. So it's a question of commitment to our plight, not only in the area of erosion, in all our infrastructural decay, challenges, our roads, infrastructure, and the rest of them. This is part of the problem we have. And when the people of Southeast, the Igbo people, complain, those who do not share in our plight think that we are crying wolf. If they come here, they experience the hardship, the torment our people go through to survive in Nigeria. We require special government intervention to be able to help us in combating all these challenges. Failed road infrastructure, erosion menace, and a lot of things. They are multiple in number. And I want to use this opportunity to call on the federal government of Nigeria to consider with passion the plight of the Igbo people in Nigeria. We cannot deal with these challenges because it requires so much money. The second Niger bridge, which they have been flagging off since 2007, still, if you go there, you see little work going on. It looks like they're dealing with people who don't have brain. We have brain. We know that this thing we are facing is a result of lip service by the federal government of Nigeria towards dealing with the issues that affect the Southeast people, the Igbo people of Nigeria.
So, about your re-election, we are aware that one of the contenders who maybe would have given you a tough fight has chickened out of this race. What is your plan about this your re-election?
Who is the person who chickened out?
Ngige.
Oh, Ngige is a very sharp person, a white man. I read in the papers when he said that he was consulting people widely. He is running away from the race. Is the outcome of that consultation. he knows that he will not win, and that's why he had to belt away. So he's a smart person. I gave that to him. He knows there's an uphill task for him to come to this election and win. And how much more win against me? I have the commitment and the drive and the passion to represent my people.
Uncle Man.
Yes. That is something he cannot offer. I'm very desperate for an opportunity to contribute towards improving the lives of my people and speaking for them, you know, at all critical moments. I don't care about what people think about us, you know. I always put it straight the way it is. And the 6 months I have participated in the plenary at the National Assembly, at the Senate, our people have recovered their confidence that they have a senator who will not be intimidated by anybody. Somebody who will not be apologetic to anybody in leadership of this country on issues that concern the Igbo people. I will look at the face of anybody and tell the person to be fair and equitable to my own people. That's the sense of representation. I will not be there and be silent when my people are groaning over a challenge or difficulty in national affairs. So I've always done it, and 6 months passed in plenary before we went on recess. I did a lot of it in chambers. Those things that they were afraid to talk about, I spoke about those things inside the plenary. I told them about what they did to IPOB and MASOB. I told the federal government of Nigeria that they are misfiring on the issue. What they needed to do was to engage them, dialogue with them, and then assure them that they will make life better for the people of the southeastern Nigeria. If you don't do that, you will be wasting time. I've not seen anywhere in the world where people will be protesting without violence, where people will be highlighting their grievances, and you rush to court to proscribe them. You cannot proscribe a people's grievances by court order. Anybody, have you seen anywhere in the world where you can see somebody who is angry, you get a court order and tell the man, don't be angry. It's not done. So the pragmatic approach to issues of the Igbo people will be to look at their complaints and find ways of addressing them. Engage our youths that are complaining bitterly of neglect, both in national employment, in all things they are doing in Nigeria, recruitment into police, air force, navy, immigration, everything. You come here, our people, our youths don't get anything. So with this type of situation, the tension will continue to rise. And it's not something you will prescribe with order, executive order. Hey, look here, don't make noise again. Somebody who is angry will continue to make noise. So if you use the court to prescribe the grievances of a people, those grievances will remain. Because one, the people you are asking not to complain loudly are still citizens of Nigeria. They are living in Nigeria. Unless you banish them out of Nigeria, then you say you have sent them out of the country. Once they are still within, what you will have is the silence of a graveyard. And those people will continue to look for ways of surviving. You know, so the government of Nigeria will properly look at these issues critically. That's why I'm there at the Senate. When I point out these things, nobody will touch me because I'm speaking the minds of my people. Yes. And the only way these things can be handled will be to engage our people, you know, and improve on the relationship between the federal government and the people of the southeast of Nigeria. The injustices we have suffered because of the civil war should be a thing of the past. I said it even on television, that all countries of the world have fought wars, civil wars, but they've all come out of the wars stronger than they went into the wars. It's only in Nigeria that Nigeria has refused to make adequate use of the lessons of that war to prevent another war from coming. You know, you treat the Igbos as people who have been defeated and use all kinds of wicked government structures to marginalize them. And you think you continue it forever. It may continue in our lifetime, but our children will not behold that. They won't accept it. So that's why we're talking about all kinds of things to address these issues, including restructuring. You know, let us restructure the country and make the country more equitable and fair to all parts of Nigeria. If you ask me, the Igbos are the best Nigerians.
Yes, sir.
No other Nigerian group loves Nigeria more than the Igbos, because we live everywhere in Nigeria. I don't know how many people who have invested in Igbo land from the north or from the southwest or wherever, but the Igbos are investing everywhere in Nigeria, developing even rural communities in the north, in the southwest, in the south. Any place you go to, you see an Igbo man there doing business, contributing to the development of that environment. So we love Nigeria and we want Nigeria to be truly united. The only way to achieve it is to be even-handed. I've always said about even-handedness, looking at everybody as equal before the law, and treat everybody as equal citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you have anything to share as a government, share it equitably, so that the Igbos will take their own. Every part of Nigeria will take their own. We don't want to cheat anybody. So if you hold the people down and you think you can make progress, you are holding yourself. There was the last motion I had, a bill in the Senate before we went on break, where my friend Senator Kiari, who is the chairman Senate Committee on Defense, he brought a bill for the establishment of Defense Research Development Bureau in Nigeria. You know, I got up and I supported that bill and drew the attention of Nigeria to what their attitude has done to Nigeria. That war, the Civil War, produced the best scientists from Biafra land. They were able to develop the Ogbunigwe bomb. They refined petroleum products without having a well-established refinery. Within Biafra, we refined petroleum without having a refinery. We were able to develop the Ogbunigwe bomb that scared the other side at that time. Ogbunigwe was a weapon of mass destruction. You know, they did it. The Biafran scientists, nuclear scientists, atomic physicists of that time, were able to do all these things. And they took Nigeria by storm. When the war ended, a progressive country would have assembled those scientists and deployed them to working for Nigeria. By now, would have been building nuclear warheads. You know, won't be buying a lot of arms. You know, all those guys are gone. Engineer Umeh, Professor Francis Animalo, Professor Godian Ezekwe, Dr. Sam Oji of Enugu State, Dr. Ofianwali. These were the scientists, among others. They lived in Nigeria since the war ended. Some of them died even 3 years ago. So for over close to 50 years, the war ended. These people were here, idled away, and died. And their ingenuity, Nigeria lost it. So if it were to be in Europe or elsewhere, or America, those people would have become heroes in our armament development program. You know, they didn't do that. So this is what we are talking about. So for me, going to the Senate is for the good of Nigeria, not just for the Igbo people or the people of Anambra Central Senatorial District. I will be there to continuously tell Nigeria what they need to do to make life better for everybody and how to secure our union as a country. The unity of Nigeria can only be secured on the basis of equity and fairness. If you don't apply equity and fairness in dealing with the rest of Nigerians, you are threatening the unity of the country. So I will be there loud expressing these views. And incidentally, you know, within 6 months I was in the Senate, I moved a motion that was selected as the best motion in the Senate for 2018. And that was the motion I moved against the incarceration of underage youths in prisons in Nigeria with adult inmates. You know, 2 months ago, the National Assembly Award Committee looked at all the motions moved in the entire National Assembly, both House of Reps and the Senate, and they voted, and that motion was taken as the best. You know, in November, I will receive the award, you know, in a ceremony in Abuja. So that shows you that being at the Senate is not only for your people, it's about the whole of Nigeria. Because underage children, people who are 16 years and below, you catch them where they're hawking banana, all kinds of things you take them to the police station and dump them in the prison yard and forget them there. It's a great disservice to our young children. These are children we should have put in the schools, funding their education, who couldn't fund their education. And when they are fending for their families, you arrest them and put them in prison. Some stay there 15 years without any help. So I identified it, I brought it to the Senate and shared newspaper publications on that matter, and our senators were enraged. People were struggling to contribute to that motion. Well, it was a very painful thing to see children that are below 18 years, some of them wearing blue uniform as prisoners, staying in prison with their collarbones showing, and some of them wearing chaplets, the rosary, gazing hopelessly, and are citizens of this country. So I photocopied it and shared it to the entire senators on plenary that day. People were very angry, and a lot of resolutions were passed on that subject. So my friend Ngige, who decided to avoid defeat, I congratulate him. It's a smart thing that he has done. But there are other people still talking about contesting. They are welcome. I understand the PDP couldn't locate a candidate, and finally they were able to get somebody to buy from, only one person in PDP, the strong PDP of Anambra State. After they went through my hands, they decided not to run the election. All those strong PDP heads decided not to participate in the election because they tried everything against me and failed. So nobody picked the courage to contest until they led a delegation to somebody who decided to buy the form. I wish him well, he's welcome, and I see how far he can go. Then for APC, I read just 2 days ago where the lady I contested with through the PDP in 2015 was telling me to prepare very well that she's coming into the election. She's welcome. But what I want to say is that the 2019 election will never be the same with 2015 election. Nobody can try it. They used the federal might and the presidency to annihilate our people with armored tanks and carried everything away. No proper collation of results, and many figures were falsified. I had to go to court to cancel the election and went through very long litigation to get the election reconducted this year. We lost 2 years and 6 months. So, and will it surprise you that only last Friday, I won finally at the Court of Appeal. That election has been put to rest. So facing the next one, anybody who wants to contest must come clean. Must come clean. They should know that they are going to contest against a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Sen.Victor, whose eyes are wide open. And those things they tried in 2015, if they want to repeat it in 2019, they should perish the thought. The era of a candidate writing names of his or her relations and make them ad hoc staff, collation officers for INEC, presiding officers for INEC, go and submit to INEC, and they post them on the day of election. That time is over. Nobody will do it again. I'll follow them from bumper to bumper. Nobody can do it. I'll take them on, both INEC and the security agencies. If we want an election, let us go to election. The people will decide who wins. But you don't come out and then write your sister's name as presiding officer in Victor Umeh's ward, and your sister will come and serve as presiding officer in my ward. On 28th of March 2015, election didn't take off in my ward until about 1 p.m. because the youth corpers that were posted to come and conduct the election in my ward disappeared. Nobody came at Neni, headquarters of our local government, until through spirited effort, we were able to get spare people to come and conduct the election. In my own ward, my opponent's sister, same father, same mother, was the presiding officer in my ward, and she tried to frustrate the election in my ward. All those things can no longer happen. they say once beaten, twice shy. So I know all the things they did. So if she's preparing to contest again, she should know that she's not like fish out of water. She's going to face the people, wait for their votes. Any trick she will want to deploy, I'm in a position to arrest it. So I thank you very much. And in 2019, if my people vote for me again,
We will vote for you.
I will assure
vote for you.
them 4 years of spectacular representation. 4 years. I've just done 6 months and 10 months to go. Even in these 6 months, what I have done on constituency projects, no senator had ever done it. Out of 58 towns in Anambra Central Senatorial District, I was able to put one physical project you can identify in 40 communities in 6 months. They are all detailed. You know, most of them have been advertised for tender in the tendering processes. Before, our people don't see these things. You know, you don't see anybody coming to tell you what he or she has done with our money. But in this case, you see now classroom blocks, water projects, skill acquisition centers, health centers, nursing quarters. Because I spoke to the communities and then got their requirements and put them in the budget. So and I was able to attract more than anybody could do. I'm a member of 8 Senate committees, the largest by any senator. You know, so I thank the Senate leadership. They recognize that I came late, and because they had known me, you know, they were able to put me in 8 committees. And those who were there before I came started complaining, you know. And I made use of my membership of those committees to attract extra projects to my constituency. So 4 years again for me, our people will see the difference.
Amen.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
And what he did was a 2-bench bus stop.
Yes.
About 12. You will see them in the bush paths.
In the bush
You
paths.
know, overgrown by grass.
Yes,
Nobody uses the bus stop. 2-bench bus stop. So he knows that with me, I will expose all those things. So he consulted and they told him to take cover, and he ran away. You know, so it is like that. The other ones who are parading themselves, they are the people doing phony, what they call phony constituency projects. You go and tell somebody improvement of learning in a local government, in schools in a local government, you put 50 million. You know, the names of the schools are not stated, so there's no way you can track those things. All my projects can be tracked because they are specified, their locations are known and stated. You can go and verify whether the jobs are being done or not. But their projects in the past cannot be verified because you just put enhancement and promotion of learning in schools in Idemill South local government area. You won't mention Girls Secondary School Oba. You won't mention Girls Secondary School KTT. You won't mention anything. So you won't see it. And they go from behind and take the money, you know, and sign it off. So today, in the projects I have put, you will see construction of 4-room class blocks with facilities in Girls Secondary School, KTT. If you go there, you see it. Borehole and water project in this community, you name it. Construction of primary health care center, Oba, is in the budget. This is Oba. I used to say that. Oba here. You go there, you see it, whether it is done or not. So people will track their money and say that the constituency money has nothing to do with Victor Umeh. It's for me to follow and ensure that these things are executed for the benefit of my people. I've also now instituted 70 scholarships for students in education this year for the 10 students per local government. And apart from my own usual education foundation scholarships, you know, I've done my own personal education foundation program on the 16th of September. My students went back to school. I paid out about 11 million. Then the one for Anambra Central Senatorial Constituency, they are compiling the fees for the beneficiaries. As soon as the students are set, because they're still collecting their admission letters from JAM and all that. In a fortnight, we'll come out and pay out more than 10 million naira again to them. So that's what I'm there for. So anybody who says he or she wants to challenge Victor Umeh in this election should get prepared. Because it's not just by wish, it's by showing why Victor Umeh should come out from there. I said it before that issue of Senate is not a child play. That if you go to the Senate, sometimes you fight. I said it when I was campaigning. Some people said, "Oh, you think when you go there, you start fighting people." Didn't you see it? We fought recently. When they came to carry our mess. So it's a business for the strong men.
Yes, for the courageous,
for the bold people.
Yes.
And when they attacked the Senate, I was there. I didn't run away. Yes. It was in my presence that they carried the mess and ran away. They had guns. So I said, do I grab this mess or not? They'll kill me. But I was there. I said, this is not democracy again. That was what I said, So that is it. I'm ready for my people, and if I get their support in 2019, I assure you, it will never be the same again.
Amen.
The mystical power of Ogilis, I know that whomever Ogilis stands for is already backed up by the gods in the land. And again, if you know that distinguished Senator Victor Umeh is one senator, 15 senators.
One in 15.
1 in 15. More than 12. You know that he needs to go there because he is the only senator now. He is the only senator talking for the Igbos. All other ones are sleeping. And again, this is the only serving senator that has stepped his foot on this gigantic investment in Nigeria.
Second time.
For him to go back there is to say whether he will close down this project. And if you know that Rojenny cannot close down, it's not possible to close down Rojenny, you now be assured that he must be there.
Amen.
Because if you look at what he does in the confab, he's a late comer in the confab. He made a miracle. Look at the railway budget and the inclusion of railway to the southeast. He made it possible after every other people have started folding up, going. He came and he made it open to be accommodated. Look at the late comer. He has been in this current dispensation. Look at what he's doing there. So he's a man, he's a senator among other senators. And if you find out, it is his bravery and wisdom that makes him to be loved, even by the Senate President. For Senate President to assign him to represent him among all other APC senators, knows that there's something in Amadike. And don't forget that what saved us during the war is the invasion of Ogbunigwe. And by the time he fought to install Obiano, the Obiano pronounced in my hearing that he don't know how to describe him except he is Ogbunigwe. And it is that Ogbunigwe I'm calling him all along. Then, if anybody try to stand on his way, on his second coming as a senator, they let the person be ready for Ogilisi and Ogbunigwe.
Of love and passion for me. My friends sometimes say I'm the only senator from the Southeast speaking for Igbo people. I'm not the only one. We still have our people who are there that are committed and ready to work. We are partnering. The difference today is that my arrival has emboldened them the more. Exactly. Because those things people ordinarily wouldn't have spoken about. I was shouting them in the Senate. We have very great people. Ekweremadu is doing well, Engineer Baribe is doing well, and a number of them there, they are working. What we are doing, we now partner, and we hold more meetings now to look at issues and then take common stand, at the National Assembly. So we are working, but in a job like this, not everybody will be noticed. You know, so I must compliment some of them that are still working. And what we need in 2019 is to send more vocal senators, more vibrant senators from the paltry 15 Senate seats. 15 Senate seats we have in the Southeast. We need people who are hungry to fight for the rights of our people. You know, let us elect people who cannot be intimidated. People who cannot be intimidated. Because the problem has always been intimidation. I remember there was a day I spoke very strongly on an issue. When we were leaving the plenary, one of my Southeast Senate brothers told me that the way I'm going, that I will soon run into trouble. I told him I want them to arrest me. Is that trouble that trouble I want to run into? Because what I want done is to expose the truth. You see this man that is here, I have special relationship with him because of his devotion to purity, something that is clean. This man, anywhere you see him, if he's telling you something, is somebody that is guided by the laws of nature to do what is right. There's no way you can see Ogirisi in anything that is bad. If he makes a mistake, he will retrace his step immediately. You know, when he consults the gods, he will say, no, this thing is wrong. This is the right way. He doesn't, if wealth is his need, this money he has invested here, some of his people, in fact, when he was doing it, nobody had the type of money he had in Igbo land. And they put it here in Oba. You know, remember, he's not from here. He's from Agwata, Akbo in Agwata. So this is the type of person we need. And we need people like him, people who can speak the way he speaks in the National Assembly. Because when we get over there, we'll get inspired without holding anything back in pushing the cases of our people for attention.
Thank you.
Oh, my friend, we're going to someday. The hospital get belly up.
Yes.
Okay. Keep my one. Also, a phone coming in. Now I feel I didn't have to. All the hand out there, they'll get it tata. Let's see the tear back. Okay, I'm not a man. So what's in the sick come matter? I'm going I don't know. You know, on the joke I believe. You know, about Cassia Benata. Now, look at them to come. Market I even need okay. But I'm making it okay. I'm making it for taking care of the that's why it's not able to come out from the car. And with me, sir?
No way. The chances of Frank, bless you.
My son will have fruit. So it's well. And I don't know
the distinguished
senator. You know, a guy been in that town. Been at 20 even call one. I know about the doggy. I believe longer life. You will live and find happiness. God will see you through with these children. That's the secret. So, I got Rojenny gently call. Now, always when they all anytime. Huh? Photo?
Face like this.
All right. SS3. SS, what do you know SS? Okay, SS, okay. Yeah, don't worry. God will help you. So, we can interview there.
The second. We took up to Ojuku. Okay? Also now, second God. Or Chineke. Yes, Chineke sent it to me. Also, then the like I'm waiting to that. Chineke will check. Because it was not that you know, which you know. They send the problem 980. Is it for Namua? So Chineke mecha zebele. Iba nekwa brofu ko no ko na. You know what it means. So ebele nebele ebo na obono na na agụ ife nnede. Amasi na okedapia ndị otu ibe Peter Obi keda papa gasi ekwu n'ife this time ngige for only the kaipa. So man, I thank God no straight and go according to him only the PDP. You know. Even now using the central because I cross out. They say that's not what I'm doing from central council. And this man, these people choice should be back to the rich members to continue his good job. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Chineke ga-edubi ogologo ndụ na arụ isi ike ndị ilu ama mfe anywhere because no mere ọra ka ọ bụ. Chineke gọzie m ya. Thank you, sir.